Hello, Karen here, Emerging Soul Tarot with your daily read. So don't forget, if you're watching these every day, to subscribe, like, comment. Really appreciated when you do that. Thank you very much. And today we have the Shamanic Oracle for you. Have a look what Spirit's saying to us today. What you got for us, Spirit? Okie dokie. Let's have a look. So we have growth, ascension, integration, and at the bottom, psychic development. Wow, people, what can I say? What can I say? Okay, our psychic development. Psychic development. We're talking about gifts of the spirit, you know, but we're also talking in terms of learning our discernment, learning to discern spirit, learning to discern our higher self, learning to discern how our body, you know, how we're integrated in our bodies and how we relate to our bodies, what our bodies are telling us. You know, that's how often discernment and psychic gifts come in, are, you know, through the whole of ourself, not just some out there spacey thing. Yeah, so it's a sense of developing ourselves psychically, of plugging into divine source, but also having that sense of, we've got the card of integration here, so the sense of having or being in the process constantly of this integrating. So all our situations in life, anything that crosses our path, you know, we sometimes, like this snake, need to shed our skin. We need to shed the old, and we're certainly in a place at the moment, energetically, physically, politically, in every shape and form, we're having to shed ideas that we had, shed old beliefs, shed ways of being, shed cycles and routines. But it is this constant integration. But again, with the psychic development, it's an integration of the cycles of life on a kind of almost practical level. But it is difficult work, you know, but it's the work of growth. And I'll pull up the Ascension card here, because again, this Ascension card coming, the Ascension is not a one-off thing we're waiting for. It is this process of psychic development, of integration of our experiences, of everything within us, bringing growth to us. You know, an acorn doesn't remain an acorn unless it's in bad soil. So, you know, even down to the soil we're planting ourselves in. So, you know, to look at, Spirit's reminding us to look at our soil, our roots. You know, where are we being planted? Where are we planting ourselves? Is it beneficial for our growth, or is it stunting our growth? Are we in soil without minerals? Are we in a place which is drawing the nutrients and energy out of us and stunting our growth? And we need to look at that in a really practical level. I mean, spirituality for me is extremely practical, you know. So everything for me contains spirit. So the people I come across on a daily basis, you know, when I'm out for a walk, when I'm doing my work, when I'm doing mundane things I don't particularly like, you know, housework. Whatever it is, these are constant sources for us to ascend and also to grow and also to integrate and develop our discernment. Particularly, I mean, I laughed when I said housework, particularly the things that we don't like doing that need doing. I mean, you could argue the housework doesn't need doing, but yeah, you know, it's the things we have to tend to. Growth is something we have to tend to, but when we're doing things that we really don't like, you know, whatever that is for you, whatever mundane thing you have to do to maintain your life, to maintain your expansion, your comfort, you know, but you don't like to do it. Some people don't like going to work per se, but need to pay the bills. But this is a time that can be extreme growth, because this is a time when our shadows can be really highlighted. You know, our small self, ego self can be highlighted in these situations. And the ascension is this, really, this snake shedding. It's a continuous process of ascending, in terms of transcending, you know, our attitudes, our beliefs, even our routines. Sometimes we need to transcend those routines and the things that sap our growth. But yeah, this is like the spiral. It's a spiral ascension. It starts with us at our centre, and it continues outward, you know, continues into growth, integration, into psychic development. It's not a one-off. You know, some people have to shed their belief of, you know, the Messiah coming to rescue them or collect them or magically transport them into nirvana, whatever it is. And I'm not that sounds kind of very dismissive, but what I'm saying is, there is, whatever your belief system is, there is a sense that you need to be walking in this kind of growth, integration, psychic development, ascension. You know, we can't just sit back, eat crisps and expect, you know, there to be growth. There'll be growth around your waistline, but that's about it. Yeah, so it's a real sense of we need to do our work, but not, you know, we can be joyful in that. I mean, this Ascension card is, for me, a really joyful, it's lush. Yeah, it's being done kind of, it's almost like that nighttime scenario here with the sun, you know, the sun either rising or setting there. But you know, it is often our work done in the dark, but that's the sense of being done at our centre, being done in the cave, you know, the soul cave. But this can be joyous. When we first do it, it can be really painful, really difficult to shed that kind of lower self, or to shed things that are stunting our growth. You know, these can be painful processes, but they can actually become joyful as we develop psychically, as we develop our discernment, as we develop our vision of what this life and this world is. That integration, growth, ascension and development can be the most beautiful experience. You can even get to the point where you almost embrace the gremlins, the shadows, you know, because you know that as you walk through that, you're held in unconditional love. Maybe not by those around you, but spiritually, you're held in unconditional love. And really, the only reason that you're shedding all these things, shedding your skin, integrated, is for that growth into the beauty of what life is. And also, you know, you're shedding that skin, and you're shedding the blockages, you're clearing out the blockages that stop that beautiful flow from above, flow from within, you know, those springs, that beautiful flow. You're just removing the blockages. So when your shadow is highlighted, or when there's a difficult situation or a difficult person, or you've got a crisis in your life, you can just have a level of joy. Yeah, you might have sadness at the same time, but you can still hold that joy, knowing that greater vision of, this is just unblocking me so I can expand, I can ascend, I can transcend, I can open myself to flow. So yeah, that is a lovely message. It shouldn't be, although it's done in the dark represents kind of like the, you know, like the subconscious, the things that we hold deep in us that sometimes we don't see. And the only reason they come up, the only reason they surface, is to get them out the way, to transmute them. Not get them out the way, that's the wrong word, because the polarities within us are, the wholeness is those polarities, you know, the one thing is both of those polarities. But we learn how to manage and integrate polarities within us. So we can, you know, for instance, we can have anger while we hold love. Yeah. So it's a beautiful message. I'm going to pull us an elemental today, I think, for a change. But yeah, don't despair if you're having difficulty. You're in a process of growth. I mean, even if you can start celebrating when, you know, when you get that kind of dreaded circumstance, if you can celebrate by saying to yourself on one level, Spirit's coming in here to unblock my wells. It's like having the plumber out when your toilets are broken, you know. Yeah. So, yeah. Start small. Start appreciating growth, you know, and growth. I don't know if you remember when you were like young and they call it growing pains, and your legs are killing you. But all you desire when you're young is to be taller, to grow, to get older. You do the reverse when you're older. But yeah, the growing pains in your legs. But we all know when we see a child going, that, you know, their ligaments are stretching, they're growing, it's painful. But at the same time, it's beautiful growth. It's a rite of passage. It's moving forward. So yeah, celebrate wherever you can. I'm not saying pretend you're happy, because, you know, you shouldn't. You should allow that, but also allow the joy of the growth as well as the pain of the growth. Okay, so we got an air sign. Oh, a neighbour holds the key to your next project. Keep in touch. Okay. So that's obviously a message for someone, but, you know, in terms of keys, this could be with this, you know, this could be, you may have a situation at the moment where you're blocked, or you know, you got pain, and yeah, there's someone near you. A neighbour can be, you know, someone across the world, you know. So there you go, people. I hope that was helpful. Lots of love. Bye-bye.